Hello, everybody, and welcome to this video where today we're going to be going over the next part in Septuagenarian Stew by Charles Bukowski. This is, part two of this book for the Bukowski Book Club. And before I forget, if you are in the LA area this week, which is the July 21st through the 26th, this is the last week to see my two black sand paintings that are at Carter Sexton Art in Studio City. There'll be a picture here. Take a look at it if you want to see them in person or you want to purchase them. This is the last week to be able to see them. Also, Seasons of the Muse. The crowdfunding campaign is up and running. You can get that book. You can get art prints. You can get original art pieces. You can get a limited edition chapbook. You can get all sorts of other things by helping support that campaign. We're at 12% of our goal right now, so help get us up over that hump, son. Now let's get to Septuagenarian Stew. So, here we are, and we are in the second section. So if you are reading along in the Echo version, we are on page 166 from Too Much down to My Father on 283. There are some short stories in here that are pretty awesome as well, and we're going to be going over them. So let's get to 166. And start talking about it. But yeah, again, the sparseness of these poems is what I kind of love about his later stuff, like later in life for him. They're right to the point. There's no filler. There's no trying to please the literati. There's just none of that. These poems Hell is a Lonely Place, he's starting to kind of play a little bit more with his own mortality and kind of what is happening with that in his life and stuff. We have some poems about Fonte in here, about him getting his legs amputated, some poems about Jeffers, and then we have a short story here called Fame. Oh, this one is great. This is about an actor and his agent, and they're driving around, and then they stop somewhere to not have a big group of people, and they get chased by, it's great. That's a really good one. Ruin. Okay, so I'll read this one for you. This is on page 189. William Sororian said, I ruined my life by marrying the same woman twice. There will always be something to ruin our lives, William. It all depends upon what or which finds us first. We are always ripe and ready to be taken. Ruined lives are normal, both for the wise and others. It is only when that life ruined becomes ours we realize that the suicides, the drunkards, the mad, the jailed, the dopers, and etc., are just as common a part of existence as the gladiola, the rainbow, the hurricane, and nothing left on the kitchen shelf. Just good stuff. Until the last night of your life. Good stuff. No Wing High. Oh, about a guy who can fly. It's kind of a funny little story. Postcard. The Strangest of the Strange. That's about him in New Orleans. Cause and Effect. I'll read this one. It's kind of short. The best often die by their own hand, just to get away, and those left behind could never quite understand why anyone would ever want to get away from them. Bad night. Monty was depressed. Well, not depressed, just discouraged with the entire setup, the entire game, the entire life. Oh, this is funny. This is actually part of a. If you've read Pulp, there's a chapter where he calls a phone sex line, and this is basically that scene, but it's just it's funny. It's funny. Got something about Hemingway in here. A rebound poem. Okay, Stupid Pain. This is on page 217. A hard, hard face under hard, hard skin, but what a grand body. And your red hair so long, but when I touched it, it was tougher than catgut, coarse as a screaming crow. But what a marvelous body. Part of the problem was that I thought you might be able to change into something else. Another part is that you're hardly worth writing about anymore. And being free of that, I have a new, more reasonable agony. Oh my God. And that's obviously about cupcakes. Scarlett. What is her real name? I can't remember her name. I read her book, and I think I did a video about it on here. Did I? I can't remember if I did or not. That's a good one, dude. All the Way to the Grave. Tolstoy's wife was a nag, and one bitter cold night she started on him again, and he left the house to escape her and caught the pneumonia which killed him. And then she wrote a book about what a son of a bitch he was. Okay, so obviously I think he's writing a lot about famous writers and how they are going through or have been through the same shit that he was going through at this moment, probably with Linda Lee. Bittersweet. Okay, so now we have Bring Me Your Love on page 222. Now, Bring Me Your Love, if you are familiar, and I'll have those books back here next week, so maybe I'll show them to you. But Bring Me Your Love is one of the ones that R. Crumb did artwork for, and they did like a one story book. And the other one is There's No Business, I think is what it's called. It's in here. It'll be in the next section we do. But Bring Me Your Love's awesome. It's about a guy who's his wife is in a madhouse kind of thing, and he goes and visits her, and she thinks he's cheating on her, and he goes back to the hotel to his mistress and is cheating on her. Shocker, like spoiler alert. Moving up the ladder, let's see, most delicate professions, the writers. This is a pretty good story about these guys who are pissed off that Fucktowski is still popular. And it's a funny little thing of where they're talking shit. It's cute. For the lady who hates it. The typewriter is like another head with a lucky brain inside. I hit the keys and things come out. The machine does all the dirty work. I phoned somebody the other night, but he wasn't in. His girlfriend answered. I noted a certain unhappiness in her voice, so I asked her if she was all right. No, she answered. I just hate being a writer. What she needs is another typewriter, one that is like another head with a lucky brain inside. Then nothing is easier than writing. It becomes ridiculously easy. And as you continue to do it, critical articles will be written on how you do it, why you do it, and what it means. And of course, you won't know what the hell they are talking about because the typewriter does it. All you do is sit down in front of it. It will It will take care of damn near everything except death and bad women. So that kind of, it doesn't go exactly, but maybe I'll put the video link here. But I just did a video about how to write when you feel like you can't write. So there you go. Blocked. This is I think this is about writer's block. Yeah, I've written 27 books and now he has writer's block. Yeah, that's kind of funny. His stories are funny, dude. They're just good. The good old machine. I was over 50 years old when this fellow took me out of the common labor market so that I could sit about all day and night and write. He promised me a sum of money for life, no matter what happened. Not that the money was that much money, but it was money. And this encouragement, since I hadn't had much of that, surely was a hell of a lift, especially since he was an editor-publisher. He even purchased for me this large typer, which I could bang away at, a great and powerful old-fashioned machine. Also, he sent me little envelopes full of stamps, a very kindly gesture. And I sat down and I sat about in my shorts, drinking scotch and beer and banging at that machine. If I could turn a page, we'll get to the rest of it. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. And it was one night, I think about 2:30 a.m. I couldn't type anymore, and I phoned my benefactor. Hey, these keys are sticking. There's something wrong with this fucking machine. Look, he said, the machine is all right. What you've got to do is develop a sense of rhythm. The fucking machine is no good, I yelled and hung up. Well, the next day and the next night, I found out he was right. That machine worked very well. It worked so well, in fact, that the monies he continued to send me became royalties instead of handouts. And after 14 years, the machine still worked, but I became precious and got an electric, which I now use and which types faster, if not better, than the old machine. And the old machine sits downstairs now on my wife's desk, and sometimes I forget about it. But there are times like tonight when I think of that fighting mad machine down there. We got so lucky together. But what I remember best is that 2:30 a.m. phone call complaining that the keys stuck. That's not saying much for my thankfulness. Writers, my friend, can sometimes only write. So that's a real fun one. The thing I want to say about that one is that kind of either negates or makes one of the stories told in women a little more fanciful. Meaning, if you remember, Linda King, when she was mad that Bukowski was telling her about his women, she ran in and broke into his house and took a bunch of his books and his paintings and his typewriter, and she smashed the typewriter in the street. And allegedly, that typewriter was the typewriter that he's talking about here. So probably that part of the story didn't happen. But it was probably more to show how crazy Linda was that she could lift this big giant heavy typewriter. Because another part in the book, they talk about how she moved a washer all by herself or a dryer or some shit like that. But yeah. And so let's do, is this, how far am I going here? Have I gone too far? You've gone too far, son. No, okay, so we're still good here. We're going to page, what did I say it was? 283. Okay, so this is Drunk with Buddha. The typewriter now hums and roars like an old washing machine. As I sit in these green shorts on this hot summer night, waiting on the luck. I don't know how much more I can expect out of this machine or out of me, but we continue to work, knowing all about death and demise. We still search the walls for answers that will not arrive. And there is this small Buddha. He sits on the desk across from me. He appears to be laughing at me. I attempt to read him. It seems as if he was saying, "Our limitations are our strengths. Let everything else go." Well, I was never much good at taking advice, so I put my cigarette into his mouth. He refuses to inhale. I take the cigarette back. I tell him, "You've come a long way, baby," just to sit there looking at me. But in another way, I think, "You're just as fucked up as I am, right?" "Right," he laughs. I type on, scattering any number of horizons. So that's a little fun one there. And then he talks about red, no love songs. Oh, this is one. He writes this long story to an editor, which is to explain why he missed the deadline and couldn't send in a story, which is fucking hysterical. Just trying to get a little service. Birthday party. Talking about Norman Mailer. There's a poem here called Always. The important thing is the obvious thing that nobody is saying. Now he just sounds like Buddha. Let's see, Strikeout. This is a story about baseball, I think. Yeah, I don't even remember reading this, which is weird. There's a poem called Yeah. Just heard a commercial which told me Farmer John smokes his own bacon. Now, there's a tough son of a bitch. And then we have My Father down here on page 283. Okay, so that is the third section. So that was mainly kind of about the writers he either looks up to or compares himself to at this point in his life. How hard it is to be in a relationship still, missing old relationships of the past, but also talking about his writing as an older man looking back at his life and just trying to deal with aging and writing and being this legend that everyone thinks him to be. So the next bit we're going to do is going to be the last one for this book. It's going to be from 191 on page 285 to Luck on page 374. And there's probably about 4 or 5 short stories and some poems. And then we'll be done with Septuagenarian Stew. And then I think we're going into the Last Night on Earth poems, which is probably one of his most widely read and popular late career books of poetry. So that'll be a lot of fun. Again, don't forget, Black Sand 2 and 3 are at Carter Sexton and Studio City if you are in the area until July 26th. The crowdfunding campaign for Seasons of the Muse is going on right now. You can get Seasons of the Muse, which is about the size of the Septuagenarian Stew there, and you get a chapbook along with it, and that's the only place you could get that. You'll also get a free art print for getting the book. You could also get audiobook versions of that and my other books. And then you can also do add-ons to get the entire art print set and the original paintings that are used for the artwork in the book. Okay, so take a look at that down below, igg.me/@/Seasons of the Muse. And check out the Bukowski podcast, blah, 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 all this stuff. Type hard, everybody. Join the crew down below. And I will talk to you all later.